We need God to save us from God. You put all this together, it's a very different way to think about it. Not centered on man anymore. We're centered on God, and we need him to do. Every single one of them in this room, other campuses, is one day going to stand before this God as judge. Could be today for any one of us. And every single one of us will stand guilty of sin against him on that day. Which means every one of us will stand before him deserving of his just judgment and his eternal wrath. Which leads to the question, right? Like, what can we do? And the answer is, there's nothing we can do. All kinds of people today, all over the world, try all kinds of ways to appease God, practice this or that religion. Here to go to church, be a good person. But none of these things can eliminate the stain of sin and guilt on all of our hearts before a holy God. People say, well, isn't God loving? Can he just forgive us of our sins? This is where John Stott said, forgiveness is for God the profoundest of problems. And here's why. Because God's forgiveness of sinners is a threat to his holy character. Think about it with me. If God simply forgives sin and acquits sinners, then is he a just judge? No, if there was a courtroom judge today who knowingly acquitted guilty criminals, we would have that judge off the bench in a heartbeat. Why? Because he's not just. We decry unjust systems in our society, as we should, because we expect justice, and so with God. If God is just and we are guilty, then the question is not why it's difficult for God to forgive us. The question is, how is it possible for him to forgive us? Which then means we need God to do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. This is the great news of the Bible, because God has done it. Now the amens can start again, because this God has so loved a sinful world that he has sent his Son, Jesus, to save us from the wrath we deserve. People say, why are we talking about God's wrath? And the answer is, one, because it's real, and two, because seeing God's wrath opens our eyes to the wonders of God's love. We have no clue in the church today how in ignoring God's wrath, we are minimizing our understanding of God's love. You picture it. It's like you and I as sinners are standing in the courtroom guilty before holy God, warranting his holy wrath. But God comes down off the bench to us and says, I will personally pay the price for your sin against me. This is what the cross is all about.